And we're alive. But sometimes we're not, you see. We could be fooling you. Is episode 10 up and running? This is a question. I'm going to do a quick check on my computer.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Let's see. Oh, look, there we are there. Let's play it. See if we've got audio. Yes. All right. I can relax into episode 10.
Gee, that was easy.
Leigh, Chantelle, welcome back.
Thank you, Harry.
It's lovely to have you
Hello,
here.
everyone. Good evening or good morning,
Well,
wherever in the world you are.
Wherever in the world you are, yes. Now, Leigh, Chantelle, you were with me a month ago, I think. Was it a month ago?
I don't know if it was exactly a month, but
it was
within
last month.
the last month.
It was last month, yeah. And you've been down here on the coast. You've been busy.
Yeah.
You're always busy. Doesn't matter where you are. Now, before we get into asking Leigh, Chantelle what she's been up to, and Ryan says he can hear us, yes, and Ethan is watching. Excellent. I should start off by saying this episode 10 was going to be broadcast from my computer. That's what I advertised, and I don't like false advertising, so I just have to say that my testing of doing that proved that it didn't work the way that I wanted it to. Further, I'll have to work on that further. So, here we go. Vegan life and go vegan. Cheers. So we are broadcasting tonight again from the mobile phone mounted on the tripod because this does work to some extent, even if we do get a little bit of pixelation. Okay.
Bloody Facebook.
Bloody Facebook. Oops, we've sworn. Okay. This is Tuesday, the 19th of July. There's a couple of announcements. Hello, Lorna. Thank you for joining us. 3 events I want to... See, I did 3 for 4 fingers. How to confuse an Irishman. 3 events this weekend. On Saturday, I'm hosting a vegan life in the background there. And actually, if I tilt over, you can see maybe Viva la Vegan's bag. That's your thing there, right? Yeah. Okay. This Saturday, we're having a vegan luck in the park at the beautiful botanical gardens at Ashmore. I think it's called Rosser Park. If you haven't been there, come along, bring a cruelty-free vegan dish and meet some new friends, or if you've been there before, meet some old friends and join us at lunchtime for vegan life, vegan luck in the park. Now on Sunday, there's 2 farm animal rescue events. There's one happening at the Brisbane City Botanic Gardens. They have a good venue. Yeah.
That's where I had my festival.
Oh yes, that was in 2010. I'm playing footsies with
you. You came to 2011.
I came to 2011.
So, yeah.
I missed 2010. Yeah. So okay, so that's it. The Brisbane City Botanic Gardens Farm Animal Rescue has a stall there. They'll be selling their cruelty-free food.
Lots of sweets. Goodies,
oh, let's hope so.
If you like that.
We don't. I mean,
most people do.
We don't like lots of sweet goodies. It says I don't know how well people can see this picture, but yes, if you can see that.
I think people are liking that because there's a few thumbs up going across and love hearts.
Yeah, love hearts. So I think that means the chocolates is working for them. That was tonight's product placement. Just leave your money on the fridge. Leader Nutrition. Okay. So,
and that other FAR.
So they're going to have their cruelty-free stall at Botanic Gardens. Farm Animal Rescue also has an open day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the same day, on Sunday 24th of July at Dayborough. So you go up there on a walking safari, you meet the animals. They have a sausage sizzle, vegan sausage sizzle with tofurkey sausages and so forth. So that's where you want to be this weekend. Well, that's easy. That's all the events done. We'll see you next week. Okay, right. So, so how's your week been? Good?
My week's been very good, yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should mention before anyone asks any questions too, I should also mention that next Tuesday night on the show, Lorna's drooling on her screen. Well, you might have to clean it off so you can see us. Next Tuesday night, I'm giving away the dinner for 2, all you can eat at Govinda's. So the way you win it is the same way that the other competitions could be won, which is you share this live stream to as many different places as you can. Share it on the President of America's Facebook page. Share it on, wherever, on different Facebook groups, on your own timeline, on your friend's timeline. Whoever shares it the most will win an all-you-can-eat dinner for two. It can be a lunch, can be a dinner, at the wonderful Govinda's Surface Paradise, 100% vegan. We ate there. We had last Wednesday night.
It was a good night.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was a good night.
What, 8 of us?
8 of us
Corinne,
there. Yeah.
Miranda, you, Elle, myself, Benny, Zach, James.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it was good. Yeah, your guest last week, James Aspey. He just spent last week with me, which was really good.
How was that? That was great.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And we were half of the panel, and we just did a panel discussion also with Billy and Chrissy Cavallo for the mock meats.
Okay, so this was a Vegan Business Network event. That was on
their first panel.
Tuesday. That was on this time last week.
Yeah, exactly.
That was on Tuesday. Now, I've put, just on my timeline this afternoon, I've put the YouTube video of that. So you guys can, if you weren't there, you can see what happened. There was yourself, Billy Simmons, James Aspey and Chrissy Carvello, and it was a discussion about mock meats on the menu.
Yeah.
Discussion about whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. And what were you saying in it?
Well, as I said in the video, I had quite a spiel, really. I had quite a response.
She had quite a spiel, really.
And
I'm in a Sean Connery then. It's doable.
I'm not going to do any impressions.
You're not doing any impressions?
No.
Well, you've impressed the viewers. That's all you need to do.
Good sake. I agree with. I'm of two minds, but I think I'm more to the side of I don't agree with mock meat. But I can see the benefits of it. Like, there are a lot of benefits to consuming mock meat. Outreach is really good. Convenience is really good. Being able to be included in other non-veg events like barbecues and bringing your own food, that's very good. To be able, especially like for places that aren't veg, to have in their freezer stock for people to come in and have, say, a vegan option. But if you sell a big burger or something, and then they've got a slab of chicken, fake chicken or something in the freezer, they can just heat up and put it in a burger, and there you go, you've got a vegan burger. That's not that hard. So many people can do that nowadays. And, there's so many more alternatives too, which is impressive. And, of course, you're not harming any animals either, which is a massive
That's
thing.
number one.
Yeah.
Donna, thank you for joining us. Zoe, thank you for joining us. What do you guys think about mock meats? You got some thoughts on that? Whether you think maybe... See, I tend to lean towards the let's keep it plant-based and sort of and educate people away from things that resemble what they were eating.
Exactly.
But I can understand that it may help with the transition,
it's
diet-wise.
An amazing transition food.
Yeah.
I fully support it as a
transition
food.
But in the long run, from an ethical point of view, we want... I shouldn't say we want, but from an ethical point of view, it's best if a person is educated to get away from that.
Well, I think where you're going is like my biggest issue that I have, like my negative, is that as vegans, we're saying that we don't need any animals, we don't need any animal products. So when we're consuming something that's mimicking an animal product, that's in
sending
some
the wrong
form
message.
Saying that we do need to be consuming those products.
Yes.
And I come from, I'm just as passionate about veganism and animal rights as I am with human rights, environmental issues, feminism, etc. So all of those things to me matter. And so a lot of the people on the panel, especially the boys, were saying, no animals are dying, doesn't matter, that's all. But for me, there's a lot more at stake. And like what we're saying about environmental aspects, like the packaged, all of the processed, packaged mock meat stuff, most of it comes from America or the UK.
Okay,
that's a hell of a lot of food miles. And if you think of the packaging, plastic, cardboard, a lot of packaging, and also the processes of creating those products, also sometimes just as bad as creating animal products.
Yes,
and I've actually linked to a couple environmental environmental facts about that on the YouTube video, because that was what people were asking last week about where I got that fact from. So I've added that on the YouTube
so that's
video.
on my timeline, guys, on Leigh Chantelle's YouTube video from last week.
The Viva, the vegan
talking
YouTube.
about you're saying the miles, the vegan
Food
miles,
miles,
food
yeah.
miles.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, if you go and support a company like like.
Can Leader please just give Harry some stuff?
Just give me some stuff, will you guys? Because if you go and support a company like Leader Nutrition on the Gold Coast, the food miles are a lot less, and you're getting a product that's pretty hard to stop eating once you start.
Oh, gosh,
there's not much of the pack. Actually, there's not a lot of the packet left there. There's only 3 biscuits left there. So,
but yeah, it was a really good discussion, the mock meats panel, because James and Billy both said, how can we talk about mock meats for an hour? Like they both were like, I support it, that's it, you know. And then whereas Chrissy and I both were coming also from the health perspective, because there's a lot of MSG, there's a lot of salt, there's a lot of fillers in mock meats, from corn to wheat and MSG, salt, and also, you know, there's a lot of soy, and soy is quite a environmentally intensive product to create. And I know and the gals from Vegan Lifestyle magazine were there the other night, and they actually mentioned, which was a good point, that not all the mock meats that are coming out now are made from soy. So that would probably lessen the environmental aspects of that, obviously.
Okay, that's a good point. I just think, I think we should be using it as transition if necessary. I mean, it's not even necessary as a transition. Some people just transition straight to 100% plant-based without an issue. So if necessary, maybe mock meats can be used as a bit of a transition, and then you know, a re-education or an appreciation of what you can do with plant-based cooking and plant-based raw foods and so forth.
I think it's
so that you don't even need to rely on it. I think, you know.
I know a lot of people who have loved meat. Like when they were younger,
you know, you want it.
They really enjoyed meat. They enjoyed the taste. They enjoy the texture, whatever. I don't have that. Like I said in the video, I've never had that. Didn't care for meat whatsoever. So I didn't miss that. So there are a lot of people who actually do miss those things. Mock meat can be good for those people.
What about, say you're somebody that you're in that situation, you used to enjoy meat, you changed to a vegan lifestyle, you didn't want to create cruelty anymore, you wanted to help the planet, help the animals, help your health, but you kept eating the mock meats. Could that possibly make it so that you are a little bit still sort of latched onto the way you used to be, and there's a little bit of a risk that you might sort of, what's that word, not reform, what's that word when you go back on, like somebody that's been a drug addict and they've stopped taking drugs, but they...
Regress.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there some possibility that, you know, because you're still having something that reminds you of something that you used to like, that maybe you might just one day go, oh, yeah, I'll go and have the real thing. That's what concerns me. It doesn't differentiate. It doesn't differentiate enough, I think. Because I say that because
I think
several
for me
times,
that's a bit black and white.
Several times. Well, no, I've actually seen this with friends several times. Vegetarian, not vegan, but vegetarian friends. I know of 2 vegetarian friends that were vegetarian for, I think, one was about 15 years, one was longer. Both went back to eating meat. Yeah. And I was like, really? But, you know,
but they might not have understand the reasons.
No, that's right. That's right. They were doing it. They weren't doing it from an ethical perspective. And this is what worries me. If somebody's not doing it from an ethical perspective, that they might just decide, well, we're having the mock meat, we'll just go and have the real one, you know, instead.
Well,
so,
you know, that I think that's bringing up a different issue, but it's an important issue to speak about. That is, you know, veganism is not just a diet. It's not. It's not a religion. It's not all these things. It's a lifestyle, and that can encompass so many different things, and it should encompass so many different things. So when I became vegan, it opened my eyes to many more social justice issues, and I really encourage people, if you don't know about the connection between animals and the feminism issues or other social justice issues. You know, for example, you know, human rights, environmental issues. If you don't know enough about these things, I suggest you do some research.
You would have some links on your site, wouldn't you? Maybe?
Yeah, there's definitely definitely
So guys,
some links.
if you go to vivalavegan.net, there'll be links about, you're talking about the feminism connection.
Yep.
And what were some of the other connections you were saying there?
So
environmental and that, yeah.
Human rights. And even, just how to use better language. I find that really important. That's one of my things. So
that you can communicate it to other people so they'll understand, is that why?
Well, communicate and not be using animal-centric sort of words. What's that? Kill two birds with one stone, for example. Yeah. And that's so ingrained in so many of our lives that you just automatically say
funny you should say that, because what are some of the animal-centric ones you've heard? I'm just thinking people say, and some of them are not nice. They call somebody a silly cow. Right? That's not nice. There's a wise owl. That's a different one. Something to do with a pig. Well, people say they call you a dirty pig or something, right? Some of these are quite nasty, negative things. I just want to say hello to Robin, who was watching, Renee and Sid. Thank you for joining us.
Hi all.
Yeah, hi all.
I think you have to be really mindful of your language, and that's not just as a vegan. I just think that's a person in general, and I don't know if people watching, but I'm very big on communicating effectively and compassionately and in a non-judgmental way. And one of my I give a lot of talks and train people in regards to social media use and online etiquette and things like that. And the main thing that I say is act, don't react, because online you can't see someone. I can't see you online here. I can see how you can react. Online, you can't see that.
Yes.
And I think that's really important to remember. There's someone behind the screen. There's someone who's actually a person who has feelings. Just because you can't see them and you can't empathise with them doesn't mean that they can't feel hurt or feel some sort of emotion because of what you say. Whether or not you're talking to other vegans, because there's a lot of drama amongst the vegans, isn't it? Like, how are we gonna go forward if we're all fighting amongst ourselves?
This is a good point, because we need to be respectful amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
Because veganism isn't just an animal rights, and this is what you're saying. It's not just an animal rights issue. It is all life rights.
Well,
the right of all life to live.
To me, yeah.
Well, that's what veganism is. I mean, it should be all,
but it depends. That's my
some
thing.
people, okay. Some people do categorise it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
I guess I'll say for me, it's a right of all life, the right of all life to live, and
so
we
that's
need to
because
respect
we agree with that. And and veganism, I think, has completely been filtered down, and it's lost the true meaning of ethics. So. For me, there's a lot more people who know of the plant-based aspects of veganism.
And generally nowadays when people use the word vegan, straight away it's food.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I've been vegan 20 years in January. Before, and how long are you? You've been
36 years.
Yeah. So go us. Go team.
Yes.
And
that's a double V. Woohoo!
And back then
I bet there's something in my water.
It's probably tea bags.
It's probably who put that in there?
and
I just noticed what came up on the computer too. It's quite interesting that in real time we're talking here, and Leigh Chantelle is somehow sending stuff.
Some of my pages are just having things come online that I've scheduled already. So
marvels of modern technology. I'm dare I say impressed. And Elaine is watching us. Thank you for joining us, Elaine. Elaine is opening a vegan bed and breakfast. In Mullumbimby.
Oh, cool.
I think in November, I think it is.
Good luck, Elaine.
Is that right, Elaine? Just tell us when, because she invited us, James and I, to go down to the opening.
Do
you have any what?
Questions on the thing?
No, because
we'd see them there.
No, we would see them there. Yeah. Where's your questions, guys? We need questions. This is a vegan hour.
Talking about
Hannah's going to be joining us in a few weeks. Next month. What are we in? July, August. Joining us in August. Thank you for joining us tonight.
I'm going to start a new conversation.
Start a new conversation.
Is because of what you mentioned about Elaine, that I'd like to talk about vegan businesses. And
let's talk about vegan businesses.
One of my great friends, Katrina Fox, she runs vegan Business Media, and I always get hers and Wade Vegan Business Network confused because they're quite similar.
Are you keeping up with this?
But so have a look at Vegan Business Media that Katrina Fox, who's a journalist, runs, and she also just released a really, really awesome book called Vegan Ventures. And there's, I think, over 60 different people interviewed. I was one of the people that spoke on social media and marketing and stuff, but there was a lot of vegan businesses, especially in Australia, who were interviewed about just the processes, what they've learned being in a vegan business, you know, and whether they do things differently. So, for example, one of my good friends, Jessica Bailey, runs the Cruelty-Free shop, and she's been running that in Sydney for 15 years, if I'm not mistaken. And she has a storefront in Sydney as well as Melbourne. And coming very shortly
to Brisbane,
in West End, we've got the Cruelty-Free shop is coming to Brisbane.
So it's going to be in West End.
Going to. Oh, that may. Sorry, that may or may not be public. Now it is.
It is now.
Yes, West End. Sorry, Jess. And then also in Canberra. So by the end of the year, Cruelty-Free shop, Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, and Brisbane.
Oh, she wanted it. She wanted the publicity.
And then, you know, so she shared a lot of her expertise. And, you know, a lot of people say, oh, they don't care about making money or it's just for the animals or something. But as a business, you need to be making money. It needs to be sustainable. Yeah. So
this brings up a good point.
If it's not, you're not going to make money. And I also think, personally, one of the things that sort of irks me with a lot of vegan businesses, and I love the fact vegans are creating businesses, they want to do something great for the animals, but if you've got a vegan business that goes under in 6 months or a year, that's really not good publicity for vegan businesses in general. Yes. Because you can make money from vegan businesses and you can do very well and be successful in a mainstream market. But you just have to know what to do. And one of the things I loved, talking about B&Bs, Bed and Broccoli, the lass from that, she was interviewed in the book, and I loved her. She was I went off on a tangent, sorry, but she was speaking about how she moved into this area for the bed and breakfast, and this is down in Victoria somewhere. Okay. And she moved into a dairy area. So she's surrounded by all these dairy people that are, creating milk from the cows and using and abusing them in ways most of us vegans would have issues with. And when she got there, she was like, oh, maybe this is the worst place that I could have come to create a vegan business. But, you know, she got on really well with the locals. She became friends with them, and they were so excited there was a vegan place there because she was the first vegan B&B at that stage. And she's become good friends with them, and they just, you know, accept each other's differences and learn to accept. And she said, I think it's like really, really important that she's there just to educate people. So I found that really great with that.
There's a couple of things that have occurred to me as you've been talking about the vegan businesses. But before I get to that, Hannah says she's excited to be on the show in the near future. I'm excited to have you guys on in the near future.
Hannah and Jeff?
And Jeff, yes, yeah. And Hannah says, do your due diligence always. Yeah. Yes.
So, know what you're doing. Know, like, are you... And one of the tips in the book too, someone said that I repeat so often to a lot of my vegan friends who want to have their own businesses, don't create a vegan business just to employ yourself. So many people, they go, I hate working for non-vegans, I want to create my own business, then it's going to be a vegan place, I'm going to work for it. And there's so many people that don't seem to do very well because they want to be the manager, they want to be the owner, they want to do everything. And, you know, sometimes you need to trust people to do things and know that you can do the managerial side of things and let other people do the other stuff.
I think we're definitely. Would you agree that we're definitely seeing an increase in vegan businesses, and also an increase in the sort, not just in vegan businesses, but in the types of businesses. Like, you know, there's like when you talk about, say, vegan bed and breakfast, I mentioned earlier, that sort of thing, you know, like creativity in vegan businesses, you know, and having the cruelty-free shops and places like that. So we're not just now saying, oh, vegan business, oh, well, it's going to be a food place. You know, there's all these variations that are coming along. The cruelty, like for instance, my favourite. Hey, Elle's there.
Hi, darling.
How are you, Elle? My favourite vegan restaurant, Greenhouse Factory, has a section there with cruelty-free.
Oh, the
clothing. That's called Love Child. It's run by Abby, who will be on the show in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep, good.
Now, so she's got cruelty-free clothing, jewellery, things like that there. So there's another sort of interesting angle that I'd never seen done before. It may have been done maybe in Sydney or Melbourne, but I haven't seen that done up here.
Maybe not in a primarily restaurant.
Yes,
that's a bit different.
That's a bit different. Elle says, I'm great. Hope you're both well. Yes.
Always, darling. But it's I think it's really important to use your skills and your expertise and your passions to bring veganism into the mainstream more. And especially if you've got a good business head, you know, it's a great way to get into. And I just want to shout out to one of my great mates, Billy Simmons, and his amazing brand Prana On. And you know, it's so amazing, and I love sharing a story. Like years ago, I think it was 2011, our mutual friend Reese, who's another person who has Pure Veda.
That's right.
And Reese introduced Billy and I years ago, and Reese, Billy and I one day were trying samples of Billy's protein before anyone had even heard of it. It's just sample sort of stuff. Yeah. And we were so impressed because just with a little bit of water, it tasted good. And most protein powders don't, you know.
Yes.
And just to see from that time when he was just giving people, you know, brown paper bags of his stuff to where it is now, and it's just going, you know, all over the world, and hopefully that'll be in most countries in the next few years.
Just in relation to that, Hannah has said something that I wasn't aware of. I was aware of part of it. What she has said is that vegan is most Google topic right now. I was aware that it was very high but she has said that Gold Coast people are second top Googlers of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Is that within Australia or?
Yeah. So
about that.
Oh, hang on. She says, "Haha, made up words."
Googlers.
Googlers. Oh, okay. Google. Right.
I knew what you meant.
I'm slow on the uptake.
I think, you know, I've been down here house sitting, so I do a lot of travel. I do a lot of house sitting. And I'm here for 3 months at Broadbeach Waters, and it's been amazing just to be around like-minded people and people that care.
Haven't we got a fantastic community here?
It's a really great community. It really is.
It really. You know,
and there's just so much more happening than Tasmania was first. Hannah's saying, "Gee, that's really surprising to me."
It's fantastic.
Really, I need these stats, please.
Yes, stats. We need these stats. Stat.
But yeah, it's like in Brisbane, we've got some good places, and I think maybe it's
big community
just
there too.
Yeah, but I think maybe when you have city sort of folk, there's so many things that happen in cities that, you know, you have to compete for all these things. Whereas maybe you're a bit more closer to each other here and a bit more. Like I guess there's like-minded people that are into their health or their fitness or, you know, that sort of stuff. So that sort of helps. And,
well, I'm going to say a big shout out to Tasmania. Tasmania, you rock.
Actually, my mate Jim Campbell, he's down there. He does a lot of vegan stuff. Haven't heard from him for a while.
Well, Mr. Campbell, if you're watching this at any time now or in the future, you must be helping them down there. Hannah says, "I'm currently on a new business plan, so it's my topic right now." Oh, good. That's good. It's the topic that she's working on.
That's really interesting.
That's good. That's why she likes this topic.
Talking about vegan businesses still, there's a lot of people who are making money from vegan being a buzzword at the moment. that I don't
Yeah.
necessarily agree with from an
Yes.
ethical perspective.
Yes.
And it was like, I gave a talk about consistency and commitment in business and
I
beyond.
finally learned that title.
Maybe it was that last month or
That
the
was
month before.
last month, I think. Yeah.
For another
Yeah.
vegan business
Network
event.
Yes.
And that's on my Viva the Vegan YouTube channel also. And that was one of my things I said, you know, like we were saying, we agree with not just the animal stuff, but environmental stuff and looking after, you know, staff and things like that. And you have it. And, so there's a lot of people that are just in the vegan business, or at least the plant-based business, because they want to make money, because it is a buzzword. So we also have to think about lots of different things. Like, are you treating your staff well? Are you paying your staff right? You know, you're respectful to your staff. There's so many horror stories of certain places online that the owners haven't looked after their staff very well, and it's shocking / funny to read some of the comments.
Hannah has to go. Thanks for your input, Hannah. See you soon. Yeah.
Thanks, Hannah. Good luck with the new business.
What worries me about a vegan business that is cashing in on the vegan word is that when it no longer makes money for them, they drop it and go on to the next thing, right? Because there's not the ethics behind it. And I've seen examples of this. Sadly, I have actually seen 100% vegan businesses introduce animal products. When I say 100% vegan restaurants introduce animal products in order to try and gain more customers and actually lose the following of the vegan community that was supporting them, and then go out of business. So there's a big thing about sticking to your ethics, even if it's through thick and thin a bit.
Yeah, but then also, Harry, you don't have your own business. So as much as I agree with that, we haven't mortgaged our eyeballs to have our own vegan business.
Let's go back a step.
So
I ran my own business for 13 years, my own promotions business, and actually used my ethical principles in my business. So I've personally done it.
I'm talking about a restaurant. Talking about a restaurant. You brought up the restaurant, so that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So, you know, I've never run a restaurant. I know how hard it is. And I know one of the examples I gave in my talk was that I do know of places that have had to add dairy milk to their menu in Sydney because people were walking past, going next door and buying a coffee because they didn't have dairy milk. So they worked out, look, if we just sell dairy milk, people will come into the store, they're going to have some other vegan products. So yeah, I personally don't agree with that. I personally would like to think if I was in the same position, I would not do that. Until we are, we really don't know what we're going to do. If you've got to pay all these bills and stuff, you're not making money, your staff, your whatever needed money, sometimes you might have to work out where your line is, and sometimes that line is going to change.
Well, I could give you an example, a personal example, and this is why I do feel very strongly about this because I have come up against this a few times. When I ran my promotions business, it built up quite quickly. We gained a lot of customers quite quickly in a small space of time, and we gained some big companies that were Australia-wide pizza-based companies. Some of what happened was initially I was happy to have some of these companies in where it was good to have them as far as from a business point of view. But from an ethical point of view, I was promoting businesses that were predominantly selling meat-based products. This really played on my mind for a while, and then eventually I got to the point where I made a decision that I could not, in good faith, run my business and be promoting these people. So I made what would be considered by some people. I was actually told at the time by some people that what I was doing was crazy from a business point of view, because I actually got rid of some of my biggest clients, and actually in a nice way, but actually got rid of them. And I was told that I was pretty much insane to do it. But because of my faith for what I believed in, that I was doing the right thing, what happened was that other businesses came in and replaced them, and I actually became busier. And I actually became busier with businesses that were more ethically focused and fitted in with my ethics. So the point I'm making there is that I believe there comes a point where we have to have faith in standing our ground. I just pictured, as you were talking about a restaurant in Sydney that introduced milk, I pictured myself in the same situation. I just wouldn't sell my soul that way. I'm not making a judgment on anyone else. I'm just saying how I would do it. And I would look for an ethical alternative to keep the business profitable without having to resort to, because to me, if I'm going to resort to putting a dairy product in there, there is no difference, because the dairy industry is the meat industry, right? There's no difference. I may as well just have dead animals in there, you know, because I'm supporting. I'm contributing. I'm supporting, because if you're not aware, and I mean, there may be people watching this that aren't aware that, you know, in the dairy industry, the amount of cruelty. A lot of people. What happens is a lot of vegetarians find out what the dairy industry is about, and they become vegan.
Yeah,
because and constantly I hear this, or a lot I hear this story. People say, I was vegetarian for 10 years, 20 years, whatever, and I thought it was okay to have milk and cheese and whatever. Then I found out that what the dairy industry is doing. I watched some videos, I saw some things on Facebook, and I found out the amount of cruelty involved, and I couldn't support that either. So if you're not aware, the figures are about 700,000, maybe 800,000 male calves a year from the dairy industry. They're considered an unwanted byproduct. They are sent off to slaughter at a very short space of time after they're born, usually within about 5 days, I believe. Sent off to slaughter, very young, and they become veal. So that it's actually been said that veal would not exist if it were not for the dairy industry. From a feminist point of view, if you want to say it, the cows.
The artificial insemination.
Insemination of the cows.
With, you know, against their will.
Against their will, kept constantly in a constant cycle of pregnancy, with their
taking their
calves,
child away.
Calves taken away at a very. There's plenty of videos on Facebook of what happens with the calves being taken away from their mothers, which is a horrendous. I post about it quite often. It's a horrendous situation for any species to experience, as any mothers would be aware of if that happened to them. So you've got that happening. You've got basically the animals, the cows are being treated like a commodity.
Yeah, and there is
very little respect.
I went vegetarian first because I didn't want any animals to be killed, and then you find out because of the dairy and the egg industries that animals still are being killed.
There's another one, the egg industry.
Yeah, you might not be consuming that animal that's died, but you're still part of that.
Yes.
So that's why I became vegan, because I found out about the dairy and egg industry.
And for those that aren't aware about the egg industry, I mean, all the male chicks are a byproduct that they don't require, and so they're just ground up alive, which is incredible.
I'd like to make a shout out to Aussie Farms, Chris and Christelle Force's team, and Animal Liberation Queensland. They're just doing some great work about that specific issue at present. Okay,
excellent.
And that's and I agree.
So that comes back to the. If I'm running a business, if I'm personally running a business,
they're your lines in the sand.
They're my lines in the sand. And I just don't. I don't want to support that.
And it's been consistent. It's like I said in my talk.
It's been consistent.
Like maybe at the beginning, if you said I'm not going to use the deal with these sort of people, you would have had such a dilemma halfway through and had to get rid of those people.
That's true.
And I think that's important. And
I think it caught me by surprise how well in my case my business actually took off, and all these people came to me, and before I knew it, I was supporting businesses that I didn't really want to be supporting.
So I think that's really important when you're starting a business, or when you're even starting a relationship or something, that you work out your boundaries, you work out your lines in the sand. What will I put up with? What will I not? Where's, if something happens here, what am I going to do?
Now, there's a tough one. You mentioned, right? Brooke, hey, Brooke, thanks for watching us instead of working. That's nice. You mentioned relationships. There's a tough one. Try in the heat of the moment, try setting boundaries. Good luck with that.
Well, I guess if you, I don't know, like
it doesn't have to. That doesn't necessarily have to be in the heat of the moment. I'm just saying, when you like someone and you're interested and you're getting to know them and all that, it's a challenge to set a boundary because you don't want to sort of push the person away, you know, and it depends on who you are. I mean, people have different. You know, we're getting right off topic.
This is relationship.
Vegan relationship.
See,
okay. Let's go. Now we haven't done this before on the show. Vegan relationships.
Yep.
Hang on, it wasn't loaded.
You're pointing at me.
It's not.
It's very judgmental. It's not. But sorry, what was the question?
Well,
vegan relationships.
Would somebody like to chip in with? Because I've seen this come up on Facebook a lot. A person's interested in someone else that may not be vegan. Well, they may be vegetarian. They may be an omni. Yeah. You know, and it's like, well.
But this is like, you know, Gary.
Glary.
I'm combining Glenn and Harry.
Glary.
That's your new name. Hashtag Gary. Harry and I were talking before about non-judgment and acceptance in people, and this is what it brings back to me. So, say 20 years ago when I first became vegan, I'm like, I only want to date vegan guys. That's it. I'm looking for this. Anything else, I'm not going to, invest too much time in. Nowadays, because I've actually got to know a lot of vegan guys, just because someone's vegan does not mean they're a nice person. And sorry,
that was loaded again.
And also for me, that doesn't mean they're interested in things that I'm interested in as well. And
that's right.
I've got a lot of vegan friends, but I also got a lot of non-vegan friends.
Yes.
And I don't want to just be talking about veganism and animal rights to people all the
time. But do you find that there is you can relax, like this is what I find when we run the vegan life events.
Yep.
And when you run your events and you're surrounded by like-minded people, it's not meant to be a judgment on other people, but you can just relax and think, we're on the same page here. I don't have to defend my ethics and that here with you.
But are we 100%? Because some people don't agree with the way certain groups promote, say, sexism, and
that's true.
I have issues with that, whereas some people think that's fine because animals is the primary goal.
That's true, yeah.
So to me,
I take your point
that is one of the goals for me. Yeah. It's not the be-all and end-all. It's a massive thing, but so all these other things.
So where does a person, Brooke says she's not working. Good on you for not working, Brooke. So where does, I guess it depends on who on the individual person as to whether you want a relationship where you tick all the boxes or whether you're actually quite tolerant of the difference with the other person. What's that saying that says that something basically that I loved you because I saw that you were perfect, and then I saw that you were imperfect, and I loved you even more, or something like that. So and actually that's a wonderful thing when you actually that level of acceptance for the other person, and you just think, they're as flawed as I am, and I love that about them because that's what makes them real. So,
and for me, years ago, looking for a vegan compatible male. Nowadays, I'm just looking for someone who's kind and who has shared some sort of shared interest.
Kind is good.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing, and it wasn't for ages. It used to be someone who plays guitar really well, has a pretty face. I'm still a sucker for the pretty face, but
what
just
woman
the
isn't?
Kind stuff is really important,
and
that's
good.
Top of the list nowadays.
That's excellent. I know you haven't asked, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I look for a woman that's breathing.
This brings me back to the boundaries issue, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe we need a few more boundaries here.
Elle says, a good question to ask is, how does this relationship honour my values? That's a very good question. I usually try to go for the ones that don't honour my values at all. The answer will help you know whether it's right for you. That is really good. I'm going to repeat that question again in case people missed it. How does this relationship honour my values? So that comes back to boundaries?
Yep, boundaries, lines in the sand, what you value. So, for example, I value someone that's kind and someone I can have a really good conversation with about many things, not just veganism.
Do you value someone who values what you believe in? Obviously you would, wouldn't you?
Well, yes, but I don't want an exact replica of me. That'd
be
boring.
They don't have to be. Yeah. But they value what you believe in, your ethics and that, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the biggest issue a lot of people find is, in regards to relationships, they want a vegan if they're going to have children. I don't want to have children. I've never wanted to have children, so that's not an issue for me. So that probably gets rid of a few issues that other people might have. But being with someone long term who's not vegan would be hard.
Yes.
Especially if they're cooking around me. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to be able to handle that.
Yeah.
But if they're, I've got a few friends that have non-vegan partners, and they eat vegan at home, and then eat on their own non-vegan stuff whenever they like.
And, have you ever, I've tried a couple of times in the past, it's been a while now, but having a relationship with a non-vegan and non-vegetarian.
Most of mine have been.
Very short-lived.
Yeah.
Because, usually starts off with sort of, even if you don't ask them to respect where you're at and be vegan with you, they'll make an effort usually. They're like,
most people,
and then you find they're only doing it not because of their commitment in themselves, but because they're just trying to please you, sort of thing. And it doesn't usually last. That's my experience. It doesn't, you get a few months later, and it's This has become the relationship hour.
It has, hasn't it? But it's I think like we said, your boundaries, whatever gets you through. Like that's sort of what I said in that commitment and consistency talk. If you're having a non-vegan restaurant that you're running with your partner, and your partner or your family, whoever's your biggest support, whether it's monetary or emotionally, think about that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And I do know of restaurants and that where there is, I can think of one straight off the top of my head where there's two people running it, one's vegan and one's not.
Yeah.
And I think there's other examples I can't think of it. There are other examples. Now, Elle has said we all have the right to have our core values respected.
Yeah, and as long as your partner respects things, that's the main thing. That's a really good point, Elle. And if someone respects you and your boundaries, even not just your values, that's fine. And you have to respect theirs. Also,
and that's actually a reflection when you choose someone or choose to stay in a relationship with someone that respects that. That's a reflection of how much you respect yourself too, isn't it? So it's how much self-esteem you have, right? And self-love, and we all know people that are in. We've all seen examples of people in very poor relationships, and it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves. So they'll accept a very low standard of treatment.
Definitely. When I was younger, hell yeah.
You'd accept people treating you not particularly well, not respecting you very well. With that.
Well, just lesser than I deserved.
Yeah.
I don't put up with people treating me like rubbish, but just less of people than I should have. Yeah.
And
lesser standard than I deserve.
And Carol is watching. Thank you for joining us, Carol. And it used to be called the vegan hour. We're now calling it the relationship hour. I
want to change the topic though, because I want to talk about all the great vegan events that are coming up this year.
All right, we've got 10 minutes left, so let's talk about the great vegan events this year.
I might just go through them all first and all the dates, and then you can ask some questions.
Okay.
So the first one that's coming up is Sunday, September the 4th. It's called Briz Vegan Fest, and that'll be taking place at West End from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m.
I'll be there. You'll be there.
Organised by my gal Sarah Wade, who used to do the Cruelty-Free Festival in Sydney after Jessica Bailey started it years ago. So that will be really exceptionally well run and organised. And James Aspey is going to be the MC for the talks, and then I'm going to do the afternoon.
Excellent.
I'm giving a talk, and I'll be hosting some panels for that. So
Great.
that'll be the first one. 2 weeks after, Saturday the 17th of September, Coast to Coast Animal Friends are having a pop-up at Coolum Beach, which is up at the Sunshine Coast. They're having, I think it's from 10, not sure about that exact time that starts, but I'm giving a talk at 12 p.m. on ethics. The next day, Sunday the 18th of September, there's a Sea Shepherd Ocean Defence Tour that's going to be held at the Maritime Museum at Southbank. I'll also be speaking there.
You'll be a busy girl that weekend.
Oh, wait, hasn't even started. Wait till October kicks in.
This has become the Leigh Chantelle hour.
This is just a little bit of my life, ladies and gents. So the end of September, beginning of October, there's the ICAS, which is the Critical Animal Studies conference, and that's going to take place on Friday the 30th of September and Saturday the 1st of October at the University of Canberra. I'm giving a workshop there.
What was it called?
It's a Critical Animal Studies Oceania Conference.
Critical Animal Studies Oceanic Conference.
So if you know, more than just like a festival and socializing and getting together, it's more people that are sharing specific topics, and in particular about intersectionality, and that just means how other social justice issues relate to veganism and animal rights.
I'm glad you explained that, because it sounded like something else when you first said it.
And so that's on Friday 30th and Saturday the 1st, but that will also be the AFL Grand Final day, which you don't care about. But the next day...
Thanks for the nudge. Did you see that? Did you see the nudge?
The next day...
Oh, here we go. She's now...
Sunday the 2nd of
nothing.
October. Sunday the 2nd of October is the Living Green Festival, which is in Canberra. And that's similar to my Green Earth Festival and Green Earth Day that used to take place. So it's
you'll
outdoors,
be there as well.
event.
Okay.
I'll be there giving a talk.
But hang on.
Then
that's on the 2nd of October.
Yeah.
You've missed the most important event on the 4th of October.
Is it your birthday? Happy birthday for then.
Everyone's got to celebrate that with a vegan life mug.
And then I think we're about halfway through there.
Wow.
The next weekend, the 7th, 8th and the 9th of October is the Bali Vegan Festival. And this is just an excuse for me to go back to Ubud in Bali, which is in Indonesia. My favourite place, Ubud. And James will be there too. James Aspie and I think, are just doing pretty much a tour for a month together. And then the next week, the 15th and the 16th of October at Southport, there's the Animal Activist Forum. And there's tickets for that on sale now. And they'll, at the end of the month, they're going to go up to a higher price. I
think I committed to going to that.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. And then the week after... that whole weekend, the 21st, 22nd and 23rd, if you're in the UK in London, there's a Veg Fest UK. I won't be going this year, but I'll be at World Vegan Day in Melbourne on Sunday the 23rd of October, so I hope to see you there. 2 left. End of October, Sunday the 30th of October, we've got the Cruelty-Free Festival, which is in Sydney. And then the weekend after, the first 2 days in a row festival, November, Saturday the 5th and Sunday the 6th, we've got a vegan festival, which is in Adelaide.
Wow.
So, that's all the vegan festivals. And I'll put that on my website or my page later,
actually,
so you've got it.
Afterwards you can probably put it in the comments on here.
I'll put it on the comments.
So if you guys missed any of those festivals, because I missed all of them, if you missed any of them, we'll
see you at some of them.
We'll have the details up in the comments section.
Is anyone going to any of them? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. We've been very quiet audience tonight. Last week with James here, as you can imagine, we couldn't keep up with it. I was watching. It was just scrolling. It was just like, it was just trying to get, And
we amused ourselves. We covered quite a few topics there tonight.
We did,
so
actually.
I hope you learned something.
Nice little, we decided to wing it tonight and see. Well, I wing it every night. I wing it every day. But vegan wings, not chicken wings. Anyway. We decided to wing it tonight and just see, where the questions took us, but because there wasn't a lot of questions, we were able to sort of cover a bit of ground from vegan businesses to relationships to all the events coming up to
some of the talks, mock meats,
the mock meat talks that happened as well too. So so that's been good. So
you've talked about your events.
I'll talk about my events. So if anyone's missed it, bad luck.
And who have you got guests coming?
Right, that's right. So next week, I've got Colleen Checkertree. Have I pronounced her surname correctly? Checkertree. No, it's Checkertree, yeah. So I've always got to think about it. Colleen is a vegan naturopath and a lovely lady who is doing consultations from the Gold Coast and from Brisbane. And she is she was on the show for about half an hour one night. She filled in.
Oh, she filled in.
Yeah, she filled in. But she'll be here for the whole time. So that's next week. So, guys, if you've got any questions, prepare them. Think about them in advance. If you've got any questions, nutrition, naturopath related, about your health, Colleen is the person to ask. Because
we had a few on that first, the first live stream we did about B12 and protein and stuff.
That's
so
right. Yes.
Ask all those questions
and
next week.
That's right. Stephen's watching. Thank you for joining us, Stephen. We've got about 5 minutes
that
left.
Thing there? They said something before.
Yes,
I don't think they could see it.
Yes,
for some reason.
that's
Sorry
actually a private message that's come up here from my friend who wasn't able to watch the stream in real time for some reason.
Hope it wasn't too pixelated for you.
Hope it wasn't too. Each time I've looked there, it's been pretty good.
I saw a couple of bits.
Couple of little pixelations there. But if you missed it at the beginning, I explained that we didn't end up doing this from the computer like I had planned because of the ongoing issues with getting that to work properly as well. Lorna says, I might be going to the Vegan Fest in Brisbane, West End. It sounded amazing. Oh my God, I got neighbour playing his keyboard whilst I'm listening to your broadcast. He's playing the entertainer, which is appropriate, as I'm getting entertained by you both this evening.
Thanks for sharing, Lorna. We'll see you at Bris Vegan Fest.
Yes, see you there. Be there or be somewhere else. Yeah, that's obvious. Be there or be square. So that's why I said be somewhere else. And Carla has just joined us before we go. That's a bugger. So, well, it's not a bugger. I mean, that's good, but it's anyway.
You missed half.
Yeah,
all of it.
nearly all of it. So, guys, you can win a dinner or a lunch for two, all you can eat. So it's the meal and it's the drinks at Govinda's Surface Paradise, 100% vegan. Simply by sharing this live stream as much as possible, and next week I will draw the winner.
The Govinda's Surface Paradise Gold Coast Bulletin, they just came number
That's
one.
That's right, thank you. I forgot to mention that. Gold Coast Best Buffet.
For people to vote for the best buffet, not vegan buffet, just buffet in general.
And how is this a vegan place? I mean, this is fantastic.
Impressive.
It's fantastic. They're also in the running for another bulletin thing, but I don't know what. I can't remember what it was now. Anyway,
so have a look on their page or something.
Lorna's
says
first vegan event that she's going to go to, and Lindy Lou says, "See you at the Brisbane Festival, guys."
See you there, Lindy.
Yes. So, I think I'm going to start winding this up because looking at the clock over there, I think
What's it say? What time did we start?
have been running.
56 minutes. Oh, we
Yeah, it'll cut out very shortly. Actually, we've only got a couple of minutes. So thank you very much for joining me, Leigh Chantelle.
Thanks for having me.
We should make you a regular monthly panellist.
Well, I won't be at the Gold Coast.
No, you'll be in Brisbane.
As of this time next month, I'll be back in Brisbane, and then I'll be travelling. So
you'll be a busy
maybe
one.
Next year.
Maybe next year. Yeah, you're always welcome to come on.
Thank you, Harry.
So thank you for everyone that joined us. And next week will be episode 11 with Colleen Chikitri, the vegan naturopath. And have you got anything you want to finish off with? Anything you want to say?
Thanks for being here, paying attention. Thanks for all the good work you do, Harry. And be kind to each other, be nice.
Yeah, thank you for all the work you do.
Compassionate.
10 years of running Viva La Vegan and almost 20 years of being vegan. That's pretty impressive. So, guys, remember to live vegan and prosper. If you've got any questions, you can ask them any time that this video's, even after it's finished. You can type in questions in the comments and I'll get back to you. And I will see you next week on episode 11 of the Vegan Hour. So take care, choose compassion over cruelty.
Always.
Yes, and I'll see you then. Good night.